All right, I'm gonna start over. I'm Chris Aiken. I'm with Web Footed Kennels out of Jonesboro, Arkansas. And I'm basically a gun dog trainer. I've been doing it for 33 years. I train dogs for other people. We keep a large number of dogs. We keep over 100 dogs at a time. And we train for the general public. And we do train a lot of hunt test dogs and upper level dogs as well. We run AKC and UKC hunt tests. We run Super Retriever Series and Crown Championships and all that kind of stuff. But we've been training for a long time and we got the chance to train a lot of dogs, so we know a little bit about it. I'm here to talk about young dogs in their first season, but without that, I want to go all the way from how to pick a puppy all the way to their first hunt and that first season, which is all the most important part stuff. I don't care what you build, what you do. The foundation is the basis to everything. It's really no different with a dog. You know, the puppy deal is so easy today. When I first started training dogs, you basically bought a puppy out of paper. And it was just whatever you had there locally and whatever you could pick up, which is not always the best puppies. Today's world with Facebook and the internet and you know, Instagram, all this kind of stuff, there's advertisements for dogs and puppies all the time. And it's real easy to find good puppies, but it's also real easy that everything's documented today. The hunt test world has exploded. It's bigger than it's ever been. It's a lot of fun. There's a reason for it. It's a lot of fun. People love it. And they're also proving what their dogs can do or can't do through the hunt test game. So it makes it real easy as a puppy buyer to be able to buy really good puppies. You know, you can look on the pedigrees. Everybody used to look on there and see a bunch of fancy names that we all made up. But nowadays, you know, these hunt test dogs are labeled on there. You can see Master, Hunter, Hunt Retriever Champion, Grand Champions, Qualified All Age, FC, AFC, whatever. All these titles may not mean a lot to you as a duck hunter, but it means a lot to you as a puppy that you're buying, because you know you're buying a quality animal. You know when you're buying a dog that is very trainable, is very compliant, that's very healthy, can physically do what we're needing to do. You know, speaking of that, all these dogs are usually health tested. These people go to a lot of time and trouble, a lot of expense to have these dogs health tested. So when you pick up a pedigree, you make sure that this dog has these accomplishments to their name, and the bigger the accomplishment, the better the dog, and of course the more expensive the dog's going to be too. But the difference in a cheap puppy and an expensive puppy is not really that much money when you're talking about a 10, 12-year investment. So buy the best dog you can buy. I tell everybody, anybody can train a good dog, and that's what you're trying to buy. It takes one heck of a trainer to train a bad dog, which is a lot of work. It's a lot of work, a lot of energy. You got to be a psychic and a therapist, and I mean, it's just too much work. It's just a less pain in the butt. And another thing, when you got a good dog, it's going to make you want to go training because you're seeing success with the dog and you as a team, and it gives you some reason to keep going out there and doing it. A dog that's a pain, you don't want to train it, and next thing you know, he hadn't been trained in a week or two, and next thing you know, he's worse than he was. And it's just not a good scenario. So always buy the best puppy you can buy. I'm a lab guy first. I'm a golden retriever guy second. I love goldens. I'm almost a tie right now. I'm having such good luck with golden retrievers. I like black labs better than I do yellows and chocolates, although my own personal dog is a yellow lab. I've hunted for the last 11 years. He's a wonderful dog. His daddy was a yellow dog that I also owned, and his mother was a yellow lab that I also owned. So I may be contradicting myself a little bit there, but I just like a good dog. You know, I like good dogs. I don't care what color they are, and I don't care if they're red, white, and blue. If they can mark real good and do what I tell them to do, I'm probably going to be in love with them pretty quick. The better they are, the prettier they get, I promise you. And I got a little black female named Hottie. She's Grand Champion, Master Hunter, Hall of Fame. She's not all that good looking a dog, but she's beautiful to me. She's picked up about 15,000 ducks in her life, and got all the titles, and done everything. So she's beautiful in my eyes, if you know what I mean. So, but anyway, it's all personal preference on what you want, but we do have the most love of black labs. We probably have, if I was guessing in the kennel right now, that we got 105 dogs. I know we got 15 goldens. I counted that up Friday or Thursday. But I would say we probably have 10 yellows, and the rest of them are all black, with the exception of 2 chocolates. So that's kind of what our breakdown is at the kennel. So it's pretty amazing how many blacks that we do have there. So anyway, once you get past picking out a breeding that you want, you got a mom and a dad you think you want one out of, and everybody says, how do I pick the puppy once I get there? Man, once you get there, every one of those puppies has the exact same genetics. They have the same mom and dad. If you're getting a male, man, separate out all the females, watch the males for about 3 seconds. Whichever one hits your feet first, whichever one grabs your eye first, you grab that sucker and you go to the house. And everybody's like, oh no, man, I spent an hour picking out my dog. Well, let me tell you, I got story after story after story where we kept the last puppy out of the litter and trained it just to prove that it would be the best dog in the litter. It's not which one of them you grab out of that litter, it's what you do with it once you leave that day. If you take that dog home, you get the best one out of the litter you think. You think, man, this one will like to retrieve better, this is the first one in the water, this is blah, 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 whatever. And you take that dog home, stick him in the backyard and do very little with him, he ain't gonna be worth a flip. You take the worst one in that whole bunch, you take him home and you do like I do. Like I got a 12-week-old puppy right now. Every day we do something with that puppy. Not anything big. Every night my wife and I get on the Ranger and ride the farm, ride at dark every night. Just kind of looking around. We take our puppy with us. He's riding on the Ranger. No big deal to most of us. Huge deal to him. Never done it. He just been doing this the last few weeks, right? Big deal to him. We stop. We throw some retrieves in the water. I got my wife out there throwing retrieves for me. I'll kind of hold him, just let him go get in the water. He's swimming through decoys. It's a big deal. Every day he just gets bigger and better and better and bigger. We're doing bigger stuff. We were throwing, from me to this gentleman now, we're throwing as far as she can throw it out there. I mean, 40, 50, 60 yards. The little guy's about that tall. It's amazing. Every day he gets better and better and better. This dog's he's been to our lake house. He's been to my duck camp. He's been to Burger King. He's been to Sonic. He's been to the vet. He's been to, he went to watch a little girl play softball the other day. Went out there, had him on lead, and he got the pet over. Those are big days for a puppy. And it's not a lot of work. It's not like you got a fancy pair of boots on, fancy hat, and a whistle on. I mean, you're just living life, right? You're just including your puppy into it. Let's face it, if you're going to have this puppy for the next 12 years, it's going to be part of your family, it's worth a little bit of investment on the front end to make you a nice puppy. Spend the time to do that. So, socialize. I tell everybody, I tell everybody, my saying is, carry that puppy everywhere but the electric chair. And I really believe that. I mean, man, if you can get away with it, carry that dude to church. I don't care. Just carry that dog with you anywhere and everywhere you go, whether it be the office or to the field or the duck blind or whatever. But all the dogs that are exposed to that, I mean, man, they just make better dogs. I don't really even start really training a dog, like doing formal stuff with them until they're 6 months old. When a puppy's about 4.5 months old, they start losing their puppy teeth. And when they're doing that, they run low-grade fever, they don't feel good, they don't really hold the bumper good because it's hurting their teeth. So you kind of get a funny read on a puppy. Oh my God, he's not as good as he was a month ago. Well, he just doesn't want to carry a bumper around while it's hurting his mouth. So we just kind of back off that, let him turn 6 months old, and when we do, we go into just strictly heel, sit, stay, kill, no. Takes a couple weeks, teach some of that. We collar condition him on heel and here. That takes about a week or so. And then we go in to teach him to hold a bumper, not drop it. And we go through what we call force fetch. And then we go into steady and making him stay while we're throwing retrieves. All this is just a step-by-step process. In today's world, there's so much information out there that in the internet and on YouTube and all that stuff, there's never ever a better time to train dogs than now. There's so much information out there that you can find out everything you need to know. I had a series of dog training videos called Duck Dog Basics with Chris Aiken, and we saw tens of thousands of those things, and they're all on DVD. And of course, I don't even know how many people have a DVD player anymore, but now everybody goes and buys subscriptions to these deals, and there's just a wealth of knowledge out there, and they're really good ones too. I've watched a lot of them. My buddy Freddie King's got one, and has, I think, 150,000 people follow it. It's amazing how much information he has on videos, he has on how to do all this stuff. Now, we're going to go ahead. Now we got this little dog. We got a little dog doing obedience, game force fetch, game steady. And you can do most of this in your garage, in your front or backyard. Doesn't take a whole lot of space, doing whatever. But you've got to get that dog away from there. That's just a deal of convenience when we're doing it at home. You got to get that dog to different places. And if we're getting a duck dog ready, I love carrying my dog into the same kind of scenarios that I'm going to have during duck season. If I'm going to hunt out of a boat every day during the summer, the fall, whatever, I want to get that dog in the boat and taking him around, getting him used to that boat. Not everybody's, not every puppy's going to be crazy about a friggin' mud motor. I mean, I'm not crazy about them. So you got to get them used to that. Not every dog's going to be crazy about you driving a boat and that motor hitting a log. You just got to get them used to it. You don't want to do this in the dark opening day with 6 of your closest buddies, I can tell you. So do some of this stuff however you hunt, whether it be in a Ranger, whether it be in an Argo, whether it be a mud motor. I'm thinking all the problems I've ever seen. You know, Argos, that thing kind of spins kind of odd. A lot of puppies don't like that. Boats obviously don't like them. Rangers, I mean, just expose them to whatever way you think you're going to hunt. I mean, most of us hunt the same kind of style most of the season. Try to get them used to it. If you're going to be hunting in flooded timber like I do every day, I want my dogs used to stands on trees. You know, we got these portable stands. I got one called a boomer stand that Avery makes. We got stuff like this right here, you know, like a rough stand. However you're going to hunt, just use that stuff during the off season. You don't have to do this stuff in the marsh or in the woods or wherever. You can do this in your backyard or whatever. I remember when I first started training dogs, I had 3 dog stands in my backyard on the only 3 trees I had. And I'd put 3 dogs, one on each one of them, and I'd mow the whole backyard. And I'd have a dog on each stand. And if they got down, I had to stop lawn mowing, go over and make him get back up on there, and I'd make it, my yard wasn't that big at that time, and I would just make them sit up there. That's dog training. I'm not out there with whistles and with decoys and guns, but I'm dog training. I'm getting that dog ready for duck season, getting him sitting on the stands for long periods of time at one time. So just try to expose that dog as many things. If you hunt out of ground blinds, you know, you can put that thing in your living room while you're watching TV. You can teach that dog killing in there. Every time you get up, man, walk over, kill him, make him get in there. I've seen so many videos of people doing that, but it all transfers over to hunting field. So if you hunt out of a pit, that's going to be probably the hardest one to do. I've got pits buried in my yard. I got one at each. I've got 2 kennels. I got pits buried at each one of them, and that's pretty hard if you guys pit hunt to get those dogs coming into that pit. So before season, when y'all are out there brushing your blinds, pumping your pits out, you know, getting ready for season, whatever, man, take your dog out there and work him in and out of that pit and have your buddies throw for you out there and get those dogs used to, that pit. You know, when everybody goes for opening day is a busy day. We've been training our dog all year long. We got him exposed to the Ranger. We got him exposed to the gun. We've had him on some birds. We've done some minor things like this. And then we're going to go out there and you get there that morning and there's 6 of your closest buddies show up to hunt. Do not carry that young dog on that hunt. I'm telling you right now, this is a 10-year, 12-year commitment for you to make this right off the bat. Do not carry that dog out there with 6 guns the first day. You are guaranteed to make a mess of this whole thing. I tell everybody, you need like a 2-person hunt. Now, I hunted a young dog last year. I had a little dog named Cowboy. I didn't get to hunt him the first 10 days of the season because I had a crowd every day. And it was breaking my heart because I wanted this little dog in the woods. I wanted him to get out there yet. So when I did get to go, there was me and 2 other guys. And that's even a little bit bigger than what I want. I really want me and 1 other person. So I told that, I stood right here, tree right here, had him on the dog stand. That next guy, we're about 15 yards away, and I had the other guy pretty good ways down the hole. We're all shooting 28 gauges every day, and I said, just scatter out here. And I said, if y'all can, y'all take turns shooting. And group come in, had 5 ducks in it. They didn't do what I told them. They both shot into them. That's what's going to happen. They both shot into them, but I'm over here I was very conscientious to get away from them 2 guys, you know. And so he did good. He went out there and got the duck. He was on his way back. He was on the way back, he ran into the other duck that was over flopping. Well, you know what he did? He grabs that one. That's just all part of young dog stuff. You just gotta, I tell everybody, you gotta have 2 things in your pockets when you go on the first hunt. You gotta have a pocket full of patience in this pocket, and you gotta have a pocket full of humor in this pocket. Because if you don't, you're gonna be mad as hell. I just tell you, you're gonna have some goofy stuff happen, okay? And it will work itself out. It will. It just takes a few hunts to do it. Okay? So anyway, the next thing, so he got those 2 ducks, ugly, okay-ish, not really great. We got them, okay? Well, I didn't have to go get them, I put it that way. Well, the next group come in there, we shot a single. He went out there beautifully, got it, and came back. Now, this is what I call this light on top of their head, and it's got this dim light. And I caught him looking up. Now, there's no way you can simulate that as a trainer at home. Even us, we got bird boys everywhere, got all that. There's no way you can simulate this stuff. They just got to hunt, they got to figure it out. So he goes and gets that one real cute, comes right back, no problem. I said, all right guys, if we get a group in here, y'all just bang them up. So we get a group in there, and they killed 5 or 6 ducks out of that one bunch. They were right in our face, and they shot them up real good. He went and got the first 2 or 3, plenty cute, and then he went out there, and he tried going to grab one, tried going to the other one. I had to get on to him a little bit, call him back. These are all things that you're going to have to do when you're hunting. My gun was in the case. Okay, I didn't even have a gun out. I was totally dedicated to my dog. I'm sitting over here by him when ducks come in. I'm over here reminding, sit. He is sitting. He got to be thinking, dude, I'm sitting. What are you talking about? But that's my cue to look, to watch. So I remind him to sit. He looks up, boom, boom, boom. We kill some ducks. They hit the water. I'm still going, sit. Now I got him on a little leash right here, and I'm kind of halfway hanging on to him. He doesn't break, doesn't move. If he does, I'll wrestle him down until he sits down. You know, just making those corrections. But everything I'm doing, I know I'm there that day for that dog. Okay? Now, we ended up killing 12 mallards that day, and man, I was proud of him. He did some messing up, he did some goofing up, but we worked it out and we got through it. The next day I came back, I was good with 4 or 5 people. We just scattered out a little bit, and we shot a limit of ducks, and he got every one of them. And I looked over at that light's a little bit more light. Well, by the third hunt, he done picked up 50, 60 ducks. That light's gleaming bright. And every hunt I watch that dog get better and better and better and better and better. And that's what you do. You just got to keep taking them back. You know, I prove this to myself all the time. We got a little sporting goods store in town I live in called D&W, and we always go up there and sometimes in the afternoons get stuff, whatever. And we're in there, and I run in this guy. I said, hey man, how'd old Susie do today? It's like the second day of duck season. Him and his son there, like, how's old Susie doing? Oh, good. You can see it in her eye. Good. You can see there's some things he's wanting to tell me about her switching ducks, about her eating that teal on the way back to the truck, in the back of the Ranger, about her peeing in the duck blind, just all the stuff that goes on in a hunt, on the first few hunts. But anyway, or she didn't see that one fall, all those kind of deals. Well then, I'm like, well good, y'all keep it up, y'all keep killing for her, she's gonna be fine. He's like, oh yeah, she's doing good. But you can see in her face, there's something there, there's a story there he can tell. All right, I run this same guy during Christmas. I said, hey man, how's old Susie? Oh man, we killed 36 this morning, she picked up 37. Well, that's pretty good. That's a pretty good deal there. He said, man, she just put it all together. Well, what is it? Kept killing. They just kept killing. And they kept figuring it out, and she got better and better and better. Then you run into them 2 years later, and you're like, hey man, how's Susie? What'd you hear about her? Did you hear she fixed breakfast the other morning for us in the blind? She went and parked the Ranger for us, they just get that good. They become part of the team, they become part of your buddies. And like my group, if I walked out the door without a dog, it'd be like, are we not going hunting today or what? They're not, them fat jokers are not going hunting without a dog. They're not going there, they have no thought process that they're actually going to get a duck by themselves. And so my dogs are part of our team. I hunt with a bunch of old dudes. They're older than me. And they're old crotchety dudes, and they're not going to go get no duck, I can tell you. And they hunt every day. They love it, but they're not going to go get no duck on their own. So anyway, so just keep hunting those dogs. Keep those dogs. Another thing, I think about hunting season. Everybody calls me and say, when's it too cold to hunt my dog? Well, my theory on this, or my opinion on this, is that young dogs don't have an adult coat till they're about 18, 20 months old. They just don't have the same hair that old dog does. So if you're even thinking, I wonder if it's too cold for my dog, just let your buddy carry his old dog, or you carry your old dog, or whatever. Leave it young dog. Because if you get a dog that gets a bad attitude towards cold weather, or cold water, you're going to have a problem. If that dog gets in there and gets really cold, that can cause you some problems in the future. So just do without. Me personally, I don't hunt a dog if there's ice, where I know it's covered. Where we hunt's pretty deep, so we don't have a whole lot of ice. But we still have a problem with we hunt out to be river style blinds a lot, and when it's cold, and we got big ramps, or we got stairs, those things get slick as all get out. And so I got to be real careful with that, especially with these older dogs that aren't physically as fit as they used to be. But just use some common sense on them young dogs. It's not a manly man deal to leave your dog at home. Everybody's like, oh, he's soft about his dog. Dude, I love that dog as much as I love the rest of my family. I don't want to hurt anybody in my family. I sure don't want to hurt my dog. It ain't not being less of just throw that ego in the trash and take care of your dogs, because man, they do everything they can for us. At least we can do the most we can for them. Because we get a lot of dogs. I remember about 10 years ago in Arkansas, the ice was about 3/4 inches thick in a rice field opening day. That ruined as many young dogs as I ever remember one season. It was just horrible. And what it also did, it ruined a bunch of old dogs too, because that night, everybody got to calling me, man, old Bubba's peeing blood. What do I do? Well, what happens is, when those dogs are running through that ice, they're damaging muscle tissue in their front legs and their chest. And when that does, it secretes some stuff, goes into their kidneys that looks like blood. It's a big term for it, I can't what it is. But when they pee, it's going to be that red looking stuff. It looks just like blood. But everybody called and told off on themselves that they had hunted their dogs in that ice. You know, and some of these dogs are like 9, 10 months old. I'm like, you're a moron, you know? I mean, and the next day it was 50 degrees all day long, you know? There wasn't any problem just waiting until the next day. People just can't do it. But just use some common sense and take care of your dog the best you can. You know, there's never been a better time to have a duck dog. And what I mean by that is the knowledge of getting a great puppy, you know, being able to locate a great puppy. There's no better time than we have right now. The training equipment, e-collars, dog stands, vests, e-collar, everything just so much better than what it's been. When I first had my first collar I bought in 1986 was a Tritronics Pro 500 with a big kind of antenna. Mickey Mouse had one red button on it, and you could either train your dog with it or jump start your truck. That thing was that hot, man. It was pathetic. And you had to have a certain kind of dog to train that dog with it. Well, nowadays the collar I'm using is like $300. Got 24 different levels, got vibrate, got tone on it. I mean, you can customize it to every dog, no matter what the infraction is, right there at your fingertips. It's amazing. And some of them even adjust more than that. So e-collars are definitely, the range is better, the consistency's better, the variable of rate is so much better now than what it was then. It's unreal. The dog food, I feed Eukanuba 30-20 is what I feed. And I tell you, I fed every dog food there is. I fed some of them for long periods of time. And ever since I switched to Eukanuba, I swear I'll never switch again. This dog food has made my life so easy. When I fed other brands and some big name brands, I always fought my weights. Let me tell you, when mom and dad come to see their dog they hadn't seen in 2 months, if that dog goes out there and smacks a triple and runs a big blind, they could care less if their dog's 5 pounds underweight. They couldn't even see that triple blind. All they can see is that dog's skinny. With Eukanuba, I don't have any trouble with my weights. So what I see with Eukanuba, skin, the hair coat, muscle tone, weight, and clean teeth. Those are the things that I have learned with Eukanuba 30-20. And so with me feeding so many dogs as I'm feeding right now, it makes my life easier. I don't have to worry about that. Because the dog training world, I tell people all the time, it's kind of an odd statement, but dog training is a small part of dog training. There's so many tasks and so many things we have to do to take care of these dogs every day that this just takes a lot of pressure off me. And if it takes a lot of pressure off me, it'll sure work for guys at home with 1 or 2 dogs. So if you ever get to try it, get you some 30-20. And I think you'll be amazed at the hair coat. I mean, they just look like they're wearing a mink coat. I mean, it's amazing how their hair coat looks. And it really, I mean, in the recovery time, that's another thing, the recovery. So when we work our dogs a lot, we may run a big triple or we may run 4 marks and 2 lines. That dog's, I mean, he's having to really work, whether it be swimming, running, whatever. When he comes back, we tie him in a trailer. Well, 10 minutes later, he's ready to roll. And I've never had that kind of recovery time with any other food except for Eukanuba. So I can't be more happy with it. I'm proud to be part of it, and I'm proud to be able to feed it on a daily basis to all these dogs. And I love when our clients keep it on that and feed it. They all give me really good feedback and really like it a lot. So does anybody have any questions about anything? Go ahead. Great question. I thought about it a second. I wish I had. So let me show you something I do. So years ago, when I first started training, we would check 10 dogs in and 5 of them would be gun shy. Now, I'm gonna say our percentage is less than 1% of gun shy dogs, okay? Now, I think a lot of this is because all these dogs are raised in a house now versus in. You think about, I don't know about your house, at my house, I got kids, I got people coming in and out, we got car doors slamming, we got house doors slamming, we got TV on all the time. Me and my wife, my son, it's a lot of chaos in there. So I think that has something to do with these dogs not being worried about gunfire as much. But the other thing, I think people want to understand how to do this. So I'll stand right here on a dog, let's just say it could be 3, 4, 5, 6 months old. I don't care. As long as he's retrieving good, and we'll bring it back real good, okay? And I'll throw me a retrieve out here. Just hand thrown, hey, up, 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 up. And I throw it out that direction. Now, I got one of my fellas over here at 100 yards out on a golf cart or Ranger 4-wheeler or whatever, walking, whatever. So he's back here, let's say at 125 yards. All right, So I throw this retrieve, and when that retrieve gets to the top of the arc, he shoots the gun the other direction. That dog's running dead full run. He's running at that bumper. He's focused. He's got a task he's doing, a job he's doing. He's not even hearing that shot. He gets it, comes back. This guy scoots into 100. We repeat the same thing. Guy scoots into 50. Now, if that dog gives me any resistance, if we're throwing, that dog stops when it shoots, or he comes back to me, or any of that, that guy goes back out to 125, 150, okay? Very few times will that ever happen, okay? But then this guy scoots into 25, then the guy stands right there. Now look, that literally takes 5 minutes to introduce your dog to gunfire the correct way, all right? From that point in time, you can shoot the gun right over the dog's head. It took 5 minutes to do it the right way. If you do it the wrong way, like we used to do, we used to stand right here, have a guy throw a bird out, and we'd shoot a gun. That dude jump underneath the truck, roll over on his back, pee on himself, whatever he used to do, he's done. You can just write that dog off for the rest of his life. I mean, you couldn't hardly fix that stuff. And so it's way better to do it the way I'm talking about right here. It takes one other person to help you, but it's well worth the wait. So thanks for asking that question, because that is a great thing. Anybody else? Yes, ma'am. Yep. Applied state, what's that mean? Okay, so once I tell a dog to do a task, I don't tell him again. So if I tell this dog to kill right here, and I walk to you and he comes and meets me back over there, I will grab him by starting out with the leash, the collar, whatever. I bring him back to here without saying no. I take him to kennel, set him back down there, and I go back out there. Is that what you're asking? So the deal is, today's world, especially once we obviously you know how to do all this guy here, he's incredible. But so the deal is, back in the day, and you're too young to remember this, but in my day, it was here, sit, no, here. It was all this drill sergeant crap, right? We don't have to do that. That was all. My mom told me when I was young, Chris, go clean your room. Chris, go clean your room. Chris, I'm telling you, you better clean your room. Chris, I'm gonna call your dad if you don't go clean your room. I never cleaned my room. She wasn't gonna do nothing, right? My dad walked in the house, that leather belt on, said Jim on the back. He'd say, Chris, go clean your room. Because I knew what's coming next, right? Well, the beautiful thing with us training with these e-collars all the time, and people got their dogs collar condition, that dog can be from here to that skid steer over there, smelling where a rabbit was, and I can say, Susie here, in that same voice, Susie here, she doesn't come, bump, 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 with a 1. She doesn't come, click 2. She doesn't come, click 4, boom, pew, here she comes to the house. I didn't get into that. Susie, here. I didn't get into that, here. I didn't get into all that. So I challenge my clients when they come hear us work the dogs for them to hear any command we say. They can't hear it. I challenge them. I said, if you ever hear a command, I want you to tell me. They can't do it. We try to keep our voices so low. We try to back everything up after one command we're done talking about it. Now we're going to make it happen. But we're always going to have the tools on there, whether it be a collar, a leash, or whether it be an e-collar, whatever, we're going to have the tools to make that happen. And it's not always easy. I call myself, I got this little golden retriever puppy right now. He is not worth a flip it coming to me. And I caught myself out there saying, here, about 4 times the other day. I'm like, that's it, big shot. Me and you's gonna get on. So I got him a long line. Got a long line on now when he's out here. Whoom, I caught me a fish just like he flips in over in here. He comes to the house, jumps in my lap, pet love on him. You just got to have the tools to back it up. If you don't have tools to back it up, you're liable to get in that here. I felt like a fool out the other day. I could hear me in my background going, "What are you doing?" You know, because if somebody else did that, it wouldn't be good. Anybody else? Look, another thing I hadn't talked about, the Pin-Up Retriever Club's right over here. They got a booth set up. You know, the hunt test deal has exploded. I mean, it is humongous now. You know, I run the Grand, I run the National, and when I first started running the Grand, there was less than $100. I think it was 91 in my first Grand. Now there's like 1,200 going to be in that this coming spring. The national, they would have anywhere from 125 to 150, and now I think we had 12 or 1,183, something like that at the last national. The hunt test game is imploded. It's for a great reason though. It's a lot of fun. These guys all train their own dogs. They go out, they got a place right down the road here at Mayflower, there at Mayflower, it's called Pepper's Pond. They all get together, they train together. One great thing about dog training people is they love to tell you how to do it. They love to share their craft with you, they love to share their knowledge, and they love to show you their dog. So you get to see how it all looks, and then you get to see where you're going. So this Pinot Retriever Club, they got a lot of great clients in there of mine. They got a lot of people that know a lot about dogs. And they do a lot of training. They got training groups. They love to help you. And so if you get interested in going out there and training with a large group of people, these people like to duck hunt, like to dove hunt, like train dogs. It's a great group of people. So go there and visit them at the Pinot booth, and they'll get you involved in that. And it's just a lot of fun. It is an addictive sport. First time I ever went to one, I remember my ex-wife and I were going back years ago. And we drove to Forest City, Arkansas from Jonesboro, which is about 40 miles. And I remember we're driving down the road and I said, this is so stupid driving 45 miles to go run a dog on something. The next weekend I was in Illinois with the same dog. And I was hooked. And I've been from one end of this country to the other with dogs, with the whole turf full. They've drugged me all over this country. A lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. We've tied a lot of dogs and got to meet a lot of great people through that deal. So y'all check out Pinot. I'm going to be in the Eukanuba booth. We got Carter over here, we got Brad, Josh, a lot of knowledge in the dog training world. We're all with Eukanuba. If we can ever do anything to help you, just step in there. These guys would love to share anything we can do to help. Thank y'all for coming to the Delta Deal. Thank you.